Folks, Maryland Governor Wes Moore has been very vocal about what's happening in the nation. And, of course, he had a news conference today, and he had a couple of words to say to Donald Trump.
So while I was on the Eastern Shore, opening up a new health clinic in rural Maryland, the President of the United States took to the Oval Office to attack me.
The governor of Maryland, I watched him this morning saying that the governor of Maryland, yeah. But I heard him today talking about how the National Guard or the military is not trained in police.
And he attacked me because I was critical of his performative decision to put military personnel in American cities to perform municipal policing functions. I served overseas in combat. I have worn the uniform of this country. And I know what is being asked of these men and women every time we ask them to activate. Our military, we were trained to fight and win our nation's wars, and our National Guards are trained to respond when states are seeing times of emergency or crises, not to perform municipal policing functions. So if the president wants to have a real conversation about how to reduce violence, like what we have had in the state of Maryland since I've been the governor, where Maryland has had amongst the fastest drops of violent crime anywhere in the United States of America, I'm ready to have that conversation anytime, Mr. President.
Folks joining us right now, former Congresswoman, now Mayor of Oakland, Barbara Lee. Mayor Lee, first of all, congratulations on your new job.
Thank you. I'm glad to be with you. I miss you, but I'm so glad to be here as mayor of this great city. And thanks for inviting me to be with you today, Roland.
Well, miss you as well, but now you give me a good reason to go back to the Bay Area. So we're going to try to make that happen as soon as possible.
Roland, you've got to come here and do one of your shows, okay? You know we'll roll out the red carpet for you here in Oaktown.
All right. Well, we'll make that happen. So I look forward to that. So we'll work on that on the planning schedule. Let's talk about this here. You serve on the federal level. You now are a mayor, and surely you have significant concerns when you hear the White House talk about taking over cities and things along those lines. And look, a lot of Republicans always talk about local government, big government, local control, but that should be worrisome to many mayors across the country.
Roland, you know what? No one in Oakland knows this man, Donald Trump, like I know Donald Trump. Remember now, I was in Congress 27 years. 4 of those years were when he was president. But also I was sitting on the floor of the House of Representatives on January 6th when he sent in his folks to thwart the peaceful transfer of power. And we barely got out of there. And so this is not a surprise to me, but it's a wake-up call, I hope, for everybody in the country to understand that he wants to militarize our government. He wants to occupy cities, and he wants to dismantle our democracy. And this is a step in that direction. And so let's use this as a wake-up call. And also, Roland, he called out Oakland like he called out other cities. And it's no secret that all of the cities that he called out, 1, have large Black and brown populations. 2, the crime rates are coming down. And 3, they're all led by Black mayors. And so look at that picture. We all know what this is about. And so we have to understand that he's not telling the truth. He's fear-mongering. And these are dog whistles also that he continues to perpetrate. And in Oakland, we're not going to stand for it.
Mayor Lee, I was communicating last night with a national commentator. And one of the things that I said to this person was that, listen, here's part of the problem. It's very easy to say we want to bring down crime. But the reality is that I have interviewed numerous police chiefs, and they will tell you you cannot bring down crime with more police. And so what they have said to me is you have to address the myriad of issues that impact crime. You're talking education, you're talking economics, you're talking poverty, you're talking hunger, you're talking jobs. And so if you want to bring down crime, you go to a Mayor Brandon Scott and say, how did you actually do it? That's what Governor Wes Moore was talking about, the strategies were. And so it's not as simple as people throw out there. And I think this is where people get confused, where you want to have these bumper sticker phrases when the issue of crime is a multifaceted issue.
Yes, it's multifaceted. First of all, we have to deal with the underlying causes and the root causes, and many are social determinants of crime. Poverty, lack of equitable and equal education, housing, the cost of living, mass incarceration, police misconduct, criminal justice. All of these issues are the root causes in our communities. But also, just as in Baltimore, what we have done is we've established several years ago the Department of Violence Prevention and Ceasefire. And our strategies are very similar to those in Baltimore, where we have, of course, the police to do policing. But we have, and the reason the crime rate is going down, though, Roland, is because we have life coaches and we have crime prevention strategies, which provide for identifying those who are most risk of either getting killed or shooting someone. And we get to these individuals, these young people, and we provide the pathway out of this in terms of stipends, jobs, job training, housing, whatever is needed. And so it's got to be comprehensive. And that is exactly what Baltimore is doing. That's what Oakland is doing. That's what all of the jurisdictions that the president has cited have in terms of strategies. It may or may not be part of the overall Department of Violence Prevention strategy, but they're strategies that take into account what you just said. And so, this president, if he were clear and if he were not such a fearmonger, he would say, okay, I'm going to help these communities continue with the trajectory of crime reduction by providing those resources for housing rather than cutting housing funding. Or I want to make sure that they have educational support instead of dismantling the Department of Education. Or he would say, I want to make sure that the cost of living is such that health care is available and people don't have to worry about health disparities and dying younger than other people who have access to health care. And so if he cared about our communities, he would do that. And those would be his policies. His policies are just the opposite. And we know what he's doing. And that is attacking cities, trying to provoke reactions so that they can come in and occupy our cities. And Oakland is just not going to let that happen. We're very unified, regardless of our differences of opinions on a variety of issues. We're very unified around this.
Let's talk about gerrymandering. You have two things. You have political partisan gerrymandering, you have racist gerrymandering. Those things actually take place. The Supreme Court has said one is illegal. You see that your Governor Gavin Newsom, is fighting back in a very strong way, launching an initiative to change the lines there. And here's what's amazing to me. 2021, there was a bill in Congress, and the question was very simple. And that is, do you want to get rid of all gerrymandering? Every Democrat voted for it, every Republican voted against. And so we know we can't talk about fair districts if you aren't doing it fair. And so you're going to have this tit for tat until political leaders come to the conclusion that you have to be able to draw districts in a very fair manner. Otherwise, if it's totally partisan, you're going to see the warfare that you're seeing happen right now, obviously in Texas, and how California is responding.
Sure, and I voted for that. In fact, I voted for a couple of times the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We still haven't gotten that passed by the MAGA extremist Republicans. And of course, Donald Trump would never sign that into law. And so, believe you me, gerrymandering is something that takes away political power from people, especially people of color, especially African Americans. And in fact, now that Texas decided that they were going to destroy political power for people in Texas and gerrymander, then we have to fight back. And we must make sure we level the playing field. And that's what this is about. Now, if these states want to continue with their unconstitutional efforts to dismantle democracy and voting rights, then we've got to balance that off and make sure that here in California and in other blue states that we're those states of resistance and those states which are going to protect the right to vote for everybody and for everyone to have have representation. This is really a defining moment where we can either just step back and say, let them do what they want to do and time will tell, or we can fight back. And let me tell you, you know me, Roland, you know, I'm ready and willing and will continue to fight back against these terrible things that are happening in this country, which impact Oakland directly.
Yep. Well, last night I had my unbought and unbossed shirt. So when you've been trained by the great Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, you are used to actually fighting back. I want to go to my panel with questions. Matt Manning, you're first.
Mayor Lee, my question for you is, what do you think is the most effective strategy for cities to push back right now on this usurpation of power that we see the Trump administration engaging in? What are your thoughts about the best ways to push back on that outside of the courtroom, which we know is one of the mechanisms you have at your disposal?
Yeah, the best ways are to be unified. We cannot, I think first, we cannot let Donald Trump divide our communities. And we need to make sure that Black and brown and white communities stick together and push back. Secondly, we need to speak out about what is taking place and not duck and dodge and not allow the bullying to continue to drive fear into people, because we know that they're talking about withholding federal funds. Okay, what do we have to do? We have to look at how we address these gaps locally. Is that going to be through parcel taxes? Is that going to be through new ways of funding the safety net and housing and what he's disinvesting based on our struggle to push back on the terrible destruction that is being taken. So we have to make sure that people understand that this is not about necessarily a specific city, but it's about a unified national effort on his part to dismantle this dictatorship and this democracy, and to establish a dictatorship. And if we can't say that locally, then we're not doing our job.
Michael.
Mayor Barbara Lee, once again, congratulations on your win. The question I had for you is that the Trump administration in April 2025 cut $158 million in community violence intervention grants that were going to major cities like Chicago, Washington, D.C., et cetera. And we know these grants were instrumental in bringing down violent crimes in these communities. And these came from the Biden-Harris administration, actually. Can you talk about if those grants had an impact in Oakland, California? And if so, can you talk about a little bit how they brought down violent crime in Oakland, California, please?
Sure. I don't want to say, and I rest my case, but you spoke, you're saying exactly what has happened. And I was on the Appropriations Committee and also on the Budget Committee. So I was a champion and helped negotiate a lot of these funds. And so the violence prevention funding, which we received here in Oakland and throughout the country, throughout these cities that he cited, where he says he wants to, he trashed us in essence. These are the cities where crime rates are coming down. Here in Oakland, for example, violent crime has gone down by, I think it's 28% in 6 months. Robberies, assaults, auto thefts, 46%. You can look at every single category and the crime rates are going down. And so it doesn't make any sense, first of all, if he were the president of all people in this country and concerned about crime, that he would want to cut efforts that bring crime rates down. And again, these are cities primarily headed by Black mayors, so we know what this is about. And we're in Oakland, again, we're going to continue with our violence prevention efforts, our Department of Violence Prevention and ceasefire, like is happening in Baltimore and other cities. And we're going to stay on this trajectory. Is it going to be tough? Yes, but that's okay. We're accustomed to tough times. And this man, we need to see him for what he is and call this administration what it is. Finally, I'll just say I was, again, on the Appropriations and Budget Committee all these years, and I saw Project 2025 every single day. And this was part of their playbook. I know their playbook, and this is the manifestation of that agenda.
All right. Thank you for your service.
Cameron.
Thank you.
Cameron.
Congratulations, Mayor Lee. So good to see you. We miss you here in D.C. But as a former Congressional Black Caucus staffer, My question to you is that right now, so many of our three largest cities are all headed by black people. We have so many African American mayors, as well as we have the largest congressional black caucus ever. There feels like there is so much power there between the Congressional Black Caucus and the African American Mayors Association to be able to bring so many different people together representing so many parts of the country. What is being done and what is being talked about amongst your colleagues, both in other mayors, along with your former colleagues in Congress, on how to really rise to this moment?
Sure, and this is the moment where we do exert black political power. And I've talked with, of course, the African American Mayors Association, and we're coordinating our efforts. We're looking at how we can support each other. Largest black caucus, you're right, and believe you me, we're in the minority right now, of course. But as a mayor, I'm still organizing to make sure that we elect more black members and more Democrats to Congress so that we can at least, while this man is in the White House, form this circle, this resistance movement on Capitol Hill like we had before. And so we have to coordinate very carefully, though. And we can't say, oh, that's just Congress or that's just a local governments. We have to exercise our political power right now. We see what they're trying to do with gerrymandering, so we have to fight back. We see what they do in terms of trying to put up barriers to registration and to make sure that we're not part of the voting process in terms of disincentives to vote. We have to push back. And so it's about us circling the wagons, both locally, statewide, and nationally, because we are at the pinnacle of black political power now. And I think we're clear about that throughout the country. I know all members of the Black Caucus, they're out there fighting hard. Black mayors are out there fighting hard. Black legislators are out there fighting hard. So this is a moment that, the glass half full is this has brought us together in a mighty way.
Thank you.
Mayor Barbara Lee, it's always a pleasure to have you. We really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Roland, where are you right now? In Maryland or in Texas?
I know. I'm actually in Indianapolis, actually Westville, Indiana. I was invited to the Live Golf tournament out here, and so I landed here a little bit earlier. When I landed, I did an interview with Spike Lee, and so I'm going to be here all weekend. There's some other great folks. Mark Jackson, former NBA player and head coach, was here earlier today, and got some other great folks who are going to be here. So we're going to be hanging out at the golf tournament. And anybody knows this, but right behind media, the second thing I love most is playing golf. So if I'm on a golf course, I'm either playing or watching.
Well, enjoy your break and tell Spike hello for me, and I want y'all to come to Oakland.
All right, then. So we'll work on doing a broadcast there at Oakland. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks a million.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.